All right. Hey, Alleviate, 70-month resub.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Jay fans, welcome to Mission Control. You're going throttle up. All right, let's fire up the YouTube video here. And we're about 25 minutes out from Starlink 6-97. I'll be right back here, and we'll go. Hold up. Ask a question. What's up, Binary? During the press conference on Crew 11, Rook mentioned that NASA was working closely with Japan on the Crew 11 return, but I don't recall him mentioning anything about Russia. Do you think that was just a slip of the mind or something else? Slip of the mind. Rook, don't talk like that, dude. He's usually right to the point. In my, as a character witness, I don't think he meant anything by it. Okay, let's start up YouTube. Okay, welcome to the Starlink, EJ's Starlink Group 6-97 launch coverage. I'm EJ, your host here, and we are about 23 minutes out from Starlink 6-97. It's a launch that's going out of the Cape. It's going out of Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral, so down in Florida here. And the booster flying today is 1078 on its 25th flight. Good stuff. So I'm waiting for the coverage to go live here, but figure we could use this time to talk about some space stuff. We got about 20 minutes before the coverage, for the official SpaceX coverage starts. Are we tuning into the ISS ceremony here? We could do that too. There is currently a command change handover for the ISS, but launch is 1 hour and 30 minutes away. Oh no, don't do that. Did they move it? Next space flights, yep, they moved it. They moved the launch for another hour. Nice. Next space flight did an update for me. The T0 time was in about 20 minutes. But it looks like it's 90 minutes out. So, yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So never mind. Let's, you want to play, we could play Winter Car for another hour. Oh boy. That's on me. I should have refreshed. Do you have any updates on Crew 11? I'm a little bit out of the loop, Shaw. I was basically deposed. Yeah, he's been deposed all weekend. There's the ISS command change ceremony. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. Like, I suppose if we're here. Let's see.
Working well together, and I can only say I wish new commander a safety flight.
Yeah, I think you guys both said it well. I mean, this crew has really worked well together.
Underdriven sound from NASA. Please tell me more.
To be on board with, your crew are your coworkers, but also your family up here, and I think it's pretty rare that you have families that get along so well and just enjoy being in each other's company so well, so much. So I think we're very lucky to have that, and it's going to be, we're really sad to say goodbye, but we're also really grateful for the time that we had up here together. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to carrying all of the lessons that you guys have taught us on forward through the rest of Expedition 74. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you guys home safe on Earth.
Yeah, first of all, Mike-san, thank you very much for your great leadership. Yeah, you motivated us, leading us, and also made laugh a lot. Very good, jokes. Yeah, I really wanted to be a Mike Pink's serial number 002. Yeah, and I know Sergei-san will be the best, one of the best commander. Yeah, for the ISS history. I already know you have very good leadership.
Yeah,
I
CJ,
feel very lucky to have
I
all
upgraded
of
this.
you.
I upgraded this computer. I don't have the volume boost on it just yet. NASA always underdrives their sound. It's the same every time. And what happens is I end up overdriving it, and then I do something else on this computer, and I forget to change it, and then I blow everybody's eardrums out. I really wish NASA would just, not do that. But, it's fine. It's fine. They're scheduled to come back Thursday morning, you think, Matt? Okay. Yeah. And overdriving sound and like destroying people's eardrums, CJ, is usually frowned upon. People don't like it when you do that. I've learned that over a long period of streaming. People don't like that when that happens. They get really mad at you.
Also, I want to say thank you very much, Ground, for your support and for everything. And Суп Москвы also. Я уже все перепутал, все языки. Но Суп Москвы, я хочу сказать вам большое
So
спасибо.
these guys are up at the ISS right now. We have 3 Russian cosmonauts, 3 American astronauts, and 1 Japanese astronaut. So the people coming down are Zena Cardman, Camilla Yui, and Mike Fink, and then which one is Oleg? I think that dude, but I'm not sure. The other 3 that are going to stay up there, so that's Sergei Kudskverchov right there. And there's this other guy is named Sergei as well, but I forget his name. But yeah, 3 are staying up, 4 are coming back. Have understand, you done it to yourself. Yep, it's all good, man. But yeah, the volume boost, I usually use it, dude. I haven't gotten around to putting it on this. Volume sounded good to you? It's very underdriven, man.
Spaceflight is complex,
we're like minus 20
but
dB.
it's not something
so
that anyone can do
dude.
alone as an individual, and
They
just
are
has
in
been the honor
the
of a
Japanese
lifetime to share
experiment
this with
module.
you. Thank you so much.
They're flight suits, Night Walker.
It's really hard to add something, but it's been a pleasure to work with you all, and it's been a pleasure to work with you, Mike, as a commander. Not only because of your professionalism, but also because of your ability to build a team spirit. The crew became the real family here, and it was a big pleasure not only work with you, but spend weekends and time after working hours, chatting, communicating, sharing stories. It's really important in space when we are concealed in this inside the space station. So thank you, Mike. Kimi, thank you so much for your experience in video, photo, and of course, thank you for sharing
hey, Gauchi.
Wonderful Japanese kitchen. Desserts are impossibly good. Yes, Zina, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, Gauchi, I'm all right. I threw out my back though, so I can't really move.
A lot of professionalism in your work. You always were open and share your experience, and thank you for this thank you for this the feeling of beauty among these tough guys.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really important.
You just call her
Oleg,
beautiful.
you are a great team member, and I'm really proud to work with you. And that's it. I
I'll be all
think
right, Phil,
that I hope we will work with you many more days on Earth and then in space. You promised a second flight, and not only second, maybe third. We'll see. So Sergey and Chris, it's we have time. We have at least in 1 month ahead, working all three on board the space station, and I see we are build a bond team, and I have no doubts we're gonna work. We're gonna continue working as a family, as a team. So that's it. And the most of all, I really want to say that I appreciate your team, your family, and we'll see you on Earth. And we will looking forward to your return until the very splashdown. Thank you so much.
Changing the title.
And by the way, today this not only a return home ceremony, it's also a command changing ceremony.
Oh yeah, we should probably
Yes.
do that.
Yes. So I pass mic to you, Mike.
Okay.
Sergey can speak pretty good
So,
English.
Sergey, I have a small personal request before we get to the official
Give me 1
handover
second,
part.
guys. I'm
Is
gonna get that volume booster.
I think my first command as commander, not that I give too many commands, was to ask everybody for a group hug. So maybe it's up to you to decide whether that's your first command or not, but not yet. Not yet. Up to you. So that's something to think about. But in the meantime, this is a really precious
There's
space
the volume
station.
booster.
It's right now in the middle of transition. We have all these cargo vehicles and cargo everywhere. We're leaving
Much
you with
better.
a lot of work. But also with a lot of knowledge, knowing that you guys are really going to do super well. Sergey, it's an honor and a pleasure to be a
Hello.
commander, and I cannot
that wasn't that
imagine
big.
being
See what I
happier
mean, CJ?
than
See
to
what I mean?
hand over command to
Never
you.
fails, dude.
So
Ever.
we need a special instrument. Oops, my flight suit doesn't want to release it, but it must. This has been passed on for a long time. It's the key
Discovery,
to the
go and
ISS.
throttle up.
So, Sergey, do you accept command of the International Space Station?
Yes, I accept command of International Space Station. Thank you so
on.
much. Thank you so
73
much.
months.
Despite all the changes and all the difficulties, we're gonna do our job on board ISS, performing all the scientific tasks, maintenance tasks here, whatever happens. And it's a big honor to be a commander of space station. Thank you, Mike. And I wanna
Gotta stand up,
command the
guys.
first command. Let's make a group hug.
Hey!
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Never forget about it. And of course, no doubts, we
it's
want
like
to
I'm there.
thank all MCCs around the world for continuous support of the International Space Station. We feel it. We know that you are far from us, but you are one hand help us. Thank you so much. Let's continue working together.
Oh, there's a hand over there.
And a huge thanks to all of you up there from all of us down here. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
All right. Yeah, that was the ISS crew handover celebration. We were going to cover the Starlink launch, but it pushed. So we're still about an hour and 17 minutes out. I'm just going to retag this stream on YouTube as a space and rocket review. I wasn't really planning on doing a space news right now, but let's do it. We're here. So, retag everything. At least DJ keeps you entertained. Even if I wish more car work was happening. Gotta wait for more money, dude. Yeah. I think I got all my back taxes paid up, which is good. Friendly reminder to decrease the audio boost now. You know, that's a good idea. Thank you. You look strange. Did you shave or something? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have my beard. Yeah. So who was missing or looking not well? Y'all look fine to me. Whatever happened, it seemed like not a big deal. Unfriendly reminder to burst everybody's eardrums. Yeah. I'm like all screwed up, dude. I was ready to do that launch coverage and now we're not. Now I'm just sitting here like, I don't really have too much to say right now. What's that? Oh, I'm looking for space news, dudes. Here. I got something. You guys want to see something? You're not going to like it, but I'll show you anyway. Israel? Oh, yeah, they lost the stage. Their third stage went kapoopy. I ran Jim the crap out of Starlink. I don't want to talk about that right now. That has nothing to do with space. Here we go. So NSF has the replay of the footage here. Let's see. Let me take a look. Let's see what happened here.
यान के आंकड़े उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं. Third stage burnout, vehicle in combined coast phase. तृतीय चरण का कार्यकाल समाप्त हो चुका है तथा यान कोस्ट फेज की ओर अग्रसर है.
Yep, that's not great. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. Let's see.
यान के आंकड़े उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं.
I need to read real quick here. Let's so that's PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle from the Indian Space Research Organization. Let's go take a look here. So this is That's PSLV right there. It's the third stage that wasn't good, so take a look. The third stage is a solid rocket booster burning hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene. 295 second specific impulse, 250 kilonewtons of thrust. Burn duration is 113.5 seconds. It has a Kevlar polymer fiber case and a submerged nozzle equipped with a flex bearing sealed gimbal with about 2 degrees with plus 2 degrees thrust vector control for pitch and yaw. Roll control is provided by the fourth stage reaction control system during the thrust phase, as well as during combined coasting phase, under which burned out PS3 remains attached to PS4. Embedded nozzle is that. See that thing right there? Okay. So I just wanted to learn about the stage real quick. So that's a loss of thrust vector control. They lost TVC. That's what that is all day. They lose it on the pitch first, and then they lose it on yaw. Watch. It'll pitch up first, and then they lose yaw right after that. I'm trying to look.
Burnout, vehicle in combined coast phase.
If it sounds stupid and it works, well, it's funny you mentioned that, Victory. That is that's a loss of thrust vector control, guys. All day. It's not trying to fight it. That's a total loss of control. So interesting thing here is that it's basically right up until point of burnout. Oof. I'm trying to see if the imparted rates on the vehicle are yeah, that's not. Huh. That is extremely peculiar behavior. That's whatever this is not something that's not normal. Obviously it's not normal because it's spinning out of control. This is a telemetry driven animation, and then their telemetry on the main screens here that they show at the end of this corroborates the vehicle going off course. See that line right there? The line is clearly off course. It's screwed up at the very end of the burn. And the last flight had a third stage anomaly too. That is a really weird failure, guys, because that means their thrust vector control system was working, and it was working just fine until like 3 or 4 seconds before burnout, because the trajectory looks fine up until that point. So what I'm really looking for here is if this thing started to decelerate, because there could be some clues there. Running out of reaction control system. Well, the reaction control systems, King, are on the fourth stage in this design. That's why I wanted to go look. This PSLV stage 3 uses an inset nozzle with thrust vector control on X and Y. So pitch and yaw. See, there's your TVC. So what could cause this problem? This could be a couple of different things, dude. My gut is telling me that it's software. Something's wrong with the software for this stage. You usually because it's so close to shutdown of the engines. I would guess that the software is freaking out. The other thing that it could possibly be is burn through, which is why I'm looking for our performance for performance on the stage. Now, I'm not, guys, what leans me away from burn through here, basically, sometimes the solid rocket propellant burns through the nozzle due to non-uniform ablation on the inside of the cover. For an SRB to keep the nozzle cool, you have to make the nozzle out of excuse me, still getting over being sick. The inside of the nozzle is made out of an ablative material like a heat shield, and that's what keeps the nozzle working, is it burns away. But the problem is, towards the end of a burn, you can get it can sometimes burn all the way through. And if it burnt all the way through somewhere up here at the throat, it could easily sever the wires for your thrust vector control system. Something like that would only show up on the telemetry. You wouldn't see it from the telemetry-driven animation here. So that monitor, yeah, it's clearly spinning out of control. The ground track looks okay, but you're getting... Hang on, rockets, let me look at this. Where's our timer? 379 seconds in. 379 seconds in is when they had a problem. So let me go look at this screen again. So see that line, how it's converging? That is underperformance. Big time underperformance. And that underperformance started happening well before the thing started spinning out of control. Rockets, you're right. I'm pretty confident that they had nozzle burn through. And it just destroyed. It either severed the nozzle or destroyed the thrust vector control system. Because look, so we're well into the launch. It started underperforming right there. That's not 5 seconds ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, they had burn through. I'm pretty damn sure. Pretty damn sure. I don't think it's bad software now that I'm looking at this. I thought it was for a second, but this kind of gives it away. Look, see, so right there, that upper line up there on that monitor is where it should be going. This is where it's actually going, and it's obviously spinning out of control from this. Those are telemetry. That's telemetry on the vehicle, but I can't read it. It's too. It's a 4:3 monitor, and this is shot in 480p, so I can't see that. Up here though, the time indicators, the time interval that they're using there, this isn't a 5-second gap, right? From there to there, that's not 5 seconds. And it takes, let's see. Oh, it might be. Because we're looking at it 400. So that's a 20-second margin right there. The gaps are usually 100 seconds. So 20 seconds went by, it started underperforming. If those are 100-second intervals, Phil, it started misbehaving over a minute before this event happened. Underperformance like that and loss of thrust due to said underperformance, guys, means gravity's going to pull you down, which is why those lines are diverging. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's probably burned through. They probably burned through the nozzle due to non-uniform ablation on the inside of the liner. Same screen from a different mission. They are 100-second intervals. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of stuff happens consistently with burn through. So that means that part of the nozzle came off.
Discovery,
and
go at throttle up.
because part of the nozzle came off, it's not shooting the gases out in that direction as good as it should be because they're up in the vacuum, which means basically you have a leak inside of the nozzle. And a leak inside of the nozzle usually unzips the nozzle eventually. And if I had to guess, it's probably somewhere right here. It's probably somewhere along this area here because the loss of thrust vector control, it's probably right in this area here, if I had to guess. Because if they lost it down here, if you lost a chunk of the nozzle down here, your thrust vector controller, which is what that thing is, would still be operable. It would still be working correctly. The EOS 9 PSLV failure. Okay. When was this mission? May of 2025. Yeah. Interesting. So let me look at EOS 9. All right, so this is, did you say that this is the third time this has happened? So this is the last PSLV launch. This was a return to flight, guys, as far as I can tell. Let's see what happens here. We'll show the launch because that's the cool part. Yeah, baby. Hey, Vind. 18-month resub. Okay. So, the failure is this, wait, what mission is this? This was streamed 15 hours ago. Okay, so that's not the right one. We need EOS 9. Let's take a look. What the hell is this? Why are they showing pictures of the wildfires for failure? Whatever. That's the... Wow, what slop. Unfreaking believable. This is a dang old YouTube short. That's Tommy Boshears right there. Yeah, we could go on the next space flight. Scrolling on the short. I mean, I'm confident nothing's going to pop up here that isn't something that I wouldn't want you guys seeing. It's my YouTube channel is just cars, planes, and rockets. That's all it is. if you want to scroll through shorts with me, I mean, look, NSF, Sen, Junker Up, Pole Barn, Vice Grips, Zip Ties, more. Like, it's cars, rockets, trains, and military history. That's all my YouTube channel is. Well, I got it dialed in. we got it dialed in. Here, let's go to next space flight. Let me see. That's a good idea. Let's go to ISRO. Actually, let's just go rockets. Search for PSLV. Right, you can do this with next space flight here. This is super useful. EOS 9. Watch the replay. See, here we go. That's a good idea. Thanks for telling me this one, dudes. I want to see right about here. All right, so this is PSLV's last launch. It looks like, from what I saw from all the slop that we were looking through, that it was a failure this wasn't a failure of the third stage, but let's see. That's PLF jettison.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Twidget, 56-month resub. Okay, PS3 ignition. That looks right. Let me see. Yeah, I love Vice Grip, dude. Derek's the man. Love that guy. Okay, so let me bring you guys up to speed here. So look, we have a couple of different lines here. All right, this is time versus altitude right here, and this is time versus relative velocity. Now, if the vehicle is performing well, these lines will not converge. The yellow lines will follow the white lines perfectly. Now, I can already tell you something's wrong here. How can you tell? Well, the lines are diverging right there. They're diverging. You're getting over performance right there. See how it's time versus altitude? The vehicle's higher than they expected. That comes from SRB overperformance, oddly enough. And you can see that little thing there. That's the drift from staging, right? It does happen. So you can see that it just kind of goes, and then you start going again. Now, what I'm really looking for here, comparatively with the EOS 9 mission to the EOS N1 mission that was yesterday, is, well, you'll know it when you see it. These lines will just go, they'll just leave. They'll leave the chat. You'll see. Oh, like that. Yeah, see, that's bad. Yeah, that's 2 dots. Ooh. Huh. 2 of them. See that? That's bad. Now, once again, this line, if they kept showing it, they're not going to, but if they kept showing it, it'll start diverging and go this way. I don't know why there's 2 blips there. So, what I can tell you is, you see how there's squiggles? You know what that is? Spinning. That's what spinning looks like on 2D visualized telemetry. Because if these are rates, if this is measuring relative velocity, right? Your relative velocity is going to go back and forth because you're spinning end over end. Now, interesting thing here. This PSLV failed at what looks to be about 379 seconds, or 385 seconds. The PSLV from the EOS N1 mission, it started... Wait a minute. Hold up. 365. Now, comparatively to the other one, no, not that. Let's go over here. That failed at 379. Where did this one fail at? 365. Oh, yeah. Something is very wrong with that upper stage. So you see how we're seeing similar effects. Spinning, total loss of thrust, premature burnout. Like there's overperformance there, which is very strange. Right around similar points and phases of the mission. That is a similar failure. So that tells me that, as much as I don't like saying it, because they had a similar failure at the exact same spot that resulted in the exact same failure mode, the vehicle spinning out of control and a total loss of control. That suggests to me that ISRO's testing was not good enough. It wasn't good enough. They said it was a manufacturing error. You sure about that? You sure about that? I don't think so. Colors of the graph have corresponding letters bottom and right. No, I understand that. If you could tell me what T and I means, I'd be very, 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 very happy, because I have no idea what those mean. I saw that there's two of them down there. Well, the same happened with Starship Flight 7 and 8. So what, Aitor? Who cares? That's an iterative test program. These are operational missions. Big difference. Big difference. T is for telemetry and I is for inertia. You sure, Dylan? Tracking and inertia. I mean, that, and NC, that sounds more correct. Tracking and inertia. That sounds right, but I'm not sure. I mean, I would, yeah, if they're that's even worse if they're tracking and their inertia is divergent. That's bad. But yeah, a similar failure mode at a similar phase in the mission with a similar satellite on a similar trajectory is no coincidence, guys. The EOS N1 mission was supposed to be a replacement. That was supposed to be a return to flight, from what people were telling me in chat. This is a return to flight. You encountered the exact same failure mode in the exact same spot. You did something. You didn't do your testing good enough. Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know too much about the Indian space program, to be honest with you. But I know enough to know that that is very bad. What's interesting to me, fellas, is that if we go back and look at the control center over here, you see that exact same screen, and that doesn't happen. Their telemetry doesn't indicate that anything is wrong here, except for a slight divergence in course. Is there a cover-up? No. I don't think there's any cover-up here. That's very interesting that telemetry only diverges at 379 over here. That telemetry is wrong. If this is any indication of what's going on at this phase in the mission. Oh, there's the SpaceX launch on December 30th, 2024. Let me see something here. We have to compare successful missions to not successful missions. Can confirm yellow is velocity tracked by radar and green is tracking by onboard inertial guidance. Ooh. So, Phil, you want to see something interesting? For the SpaceX mission, which is 2 PSLVs ago, there was underperformance on that stage as well. Look. Look at the lines. See the divergent lines? They diverge from the white.
Discovery, go at throttle
You're
up.
getting some divergence of lines down here. Interesting. And then for... This is interesting. So that's the SpaceX mission. This is EOS 9, which was last year.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
They got overperformance there in a burn through. And then for... You know what? Let me just compare all three. Okay, that's at 390. Oh, we can't get that one at 390. Let's do 365 seconds. Let's see what happens. That's correct, Victory, yes. I don't want to see people. I want to see the rocket, please. It's 374. Okay. So that was 2024. That was December 2024. This was May of 2025, and this was the mission yesterday. I'm trying to get everything around the same spot. We could see the damn telemetry lines. It'd be a lot easier.
त्रिवेंद्रम,
Third stage performance
Mauritius
normal.
और अंटार्कटिका
No, it's
के
not.
ग्राउंड स्टेशंस हम तक यान के आंकड़े उपलब्ध.
See, that's very interesting to me. That guy's announcing third stage performance normal. It's not. It's very not. It's very much not. The telemetry corroborates this. See? The telemetry on their own. There's a, yeah, right there. It's definitely spinning out of control. See it? Watch, you'll see Earth come into view, right? But you can clearly see a divergence in telemetry there when that guy's saying, oh, telemetry is normal. No, it's not.
दक्षिणी दिशा और अंटार्कटिका स्टेशंस हम तक
So that one has a failure pretty much in the exact same spot. What's weird to me is that the trajectory is a little bit different between the EOS N1 mission and the EOS 9 mission. SpaceX is so check this out, dudes. Look, there's underperformance right here. Something happened right around there that caused a little bit of a blip. And it could be just a blip in telemetry or tracking or whatever, but these lines are clearly divergent and it compensates for it. It should be okay. But it's interesting. They had underperformance there and then they had overperformance here. See how the line's just slightly above? Now, keep in mind, it's a nominal track, so it's not exactly right all the time. It's close. You clearly have tracking and inertia, and your tracking and inertia is diverging here for some reason. I'm pretty sure you guys got those right. Fellas, this is for the EOS 9 mission. Look, that is a huge divergence right there. That's almost explosion levels of divergence. Yeah, that the fact that your T and I are so separated right here, and how one is jagged as heck and the other one isn't, means that, yeah, something blew up. They might be tracking two different pieces of debris. Now, for this one,
यान के आंकड़े उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं.
at right around the same time, you have the same problem. Yeah. Now, we know that this thing is spinning. We know that EOS N9, this is the mission from May of 2025. The velocity indicator for inertia is spinning up and down, meaning that the thing is spinning end over end. That telemetry corroborates exactly this same thing here, but these are two different missions. But it's two different missions at the same exact time, doing almost the exact same thing. Yeah. Now, I don't mean to be a jerk. I'm not trying to be mean, but this very much seems like they don't have their stuff together. Not yet, at least. This is the same failure at the same point, the same mission with the same satellite. I don't think it's necessarily a design flaw. I think they thought they fixed the problem and they didn't. That's rocket science is tricky like that. You can think you're solving the problem, but if you don't, and you try and fix something else, it's like troubleshooting, man. You know, how many times have you troubleshoot something that's going wrong with your computer, right? You troubleshoot something that's going weird, right? And you think you fixed the problem and it did nothing. I don't know what the fourth stage is, Dons. If I had to guess, it's probably hypergolic. The third stage is a solid rocket motor using HTPB, hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene. It's entirely possible that the stage separated. Radar control could be tracking the known signature of the stage while the payload's computer is reporting its own. So, Stygian, yeah, on the EOS 9 mission, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it spun so badly that it actually ripped itself apart, which is why you have diverging dots. But like I said, it still comes down to they had a similar failure within a 10-second nominal delta out of a 500-second mission. 500-second mission. And you just happen to have a failure in the exact same spot with the exact same behavior. You didn't fix anything. You think you fixed it, but you didn't. And now you wasted two satellites. Two spy satellites instead of one. People were also pointing out the, in general, questionable build quality. I just copied my Space and Rocket Review link. There we go. Oh. What the hell? So, you know what, guys? So at face value here, Phil, you're like, it's all lumpy. Why is it lumpy? I don't know if that's Permatex or RTV or whatever. And believe it or not, dudes, that's not what's kind of like making me go, huh? Here, to be 100% honest with you. What's really making me go, huh, is why are half of the bolts exposed? So check this out, dude. The lumpiness, believe it or not, doesn't, whatever. Rockets are lumpy. That happens. It's a uniform code. It looks fine to me. What's really throwing me off is why are these bolts exposed and those bolts are not? So this tells me that somebody applied this and then somebody took it apart and then put it back together, which once again suggests absolutely horrid quality assurance. That, like, horrid. The lumpiness isn't even what's throwing me here. I mean, it looks like I applied that thing with I applied it with my feet, to be 100% honest with you. But look, you got plenty of bolts here that are all covered up by the RTV, and a lot of them aren't. So that tells me that the RTV, or this whatever this thermal protection was applied, and then they took it apart and then put it back together. I don't know why you'd do that in any type of processing flow on any normal rocket. Like, that's very strange. Like, look, those bolts are missing. Some of the bolts aren't even there. Yeah, the lumpiness isn't what's throwing me here. That's fine. But look, this panel post insulation application was taken apart. It was taken apart and put back together. That's sloppy, very sloppy. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk to Indians or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I wish your space program all the best. Don't do that. That's bad. Don't do that. If something is wrong, take the whole thing apart, restart the process, throw it in the trash. Don't, like, look at that. That whole panel's been taken apart. Post insulation adhesion. Some bolts are missing. What the hell's going on here? Huge red flag. There's red flags everywhere. Like, look, that top panel, the bolts on the top panel are there, but they took this one off and that one off. What's going on here? Well, you should reapply the coating, because now if you don't reapply the coating, you're getting non-uniform insulation right here. Now, it might not be a big deal. It's probably nothing. But probably nothing doesn't fly too far in the rocket industry. Case in point.
Third stage burnout.
It got pretty far. Do we know the coating wasn't reapplied? I mean, this is at a stage in processing. But what I don't get is, why are some of the bolts... Look, some of the bolts don't... It was reapplied to some, but not any. Well, I don't know exactly what type of processing flow is going to warrant that. That's what's getting me right there. On Space Coast Live, drone ship leaving, ship quick disconnect, getting prepped for lift again, and T-minus 36 until Starlink. Yep. Yeah, this screams sloppy work. Like, and what do I know? I'm not trying to be a jerk here. Like, look, there's bolts missing. They're missing. They're not even there. Okay, it's one thing to, like, not have your thermal protection reapplied here, but there's those. That's not like pixelated image. There's bolts missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Those are straight up gone. Like, this screams that this thing was assembled and then taken apart and then put back together. And I think this is one of the side boosters. For PSLV. Your roll control thruster. Last. On the left scaffold, is one of the guys barefoot? No, he has booties on. Those are dust covers for your shoes. He's not barefoot. Hey, Tilo, what's going on? Yeah, this, like I said, the lumpiness isn't even what's getting me here, Phil. It's your umbilical plugs. Everything looks fine there. Like, why are bolts missing? What is this about? Did somebody steal them? Like, why was the RTV applied and then taken off? Like, once again, this tells me that ISRO's QA is not great. Yeah. Tilo, not much, just struggling with the job market. Besides that, I'm good. You move across the country. Nice, dude. Yeah, the job market thing is a thing, dude. Don't worry about it. You'll wind up on your feet. You just got to keep trying. You know, I very much can empathize with kids, you know, that are, you know, getting out of high school and college right now and not able to find a job, dude. I get it. I graduated in summer 2008. I get you. It's not fun. You just got to persevere. Jobs will come back. Don't worry. You'll be all right. Somebody steal them? Like, Riv, I don't know. Like, why would you take bolts out? Why are you putting a rocket? Why are you attaching a booster on the pad that's not complete? Somebody took that whole thing apart after post RTV insulation. That's not good. So, yeah, Tilo, don't worry about it, man. You'll find something. Is my winter car more complicated than space? No. But it's close. I'm a cat. That's why I'm good at my winter car, because I don't leave any stone unturned. I will make sure. Dude, I guarantee you I'll get that car to run on the first try. Once I get all the damn parts. If the game doesn't kill me. Did we ever figure out what the medical emergency was on the ISS and who it was? No, Miller, we're probably not going to. I have my thoughts on who I think it is and why, but this isn't Clue, dudes. It's not Clue. It's like Colonel Mike Fink in the Kibo module with the wrench. It's not Clue, dude. I don't think it's Mike Fink for what it's worth. It's not. I don't feel right speculating on something like this. Just got to get the opportunity and you're patient. Now, Tilo, let me tell you two things. What did you graduate with? Did you get a degree? Refresh my memory, dude. Are you out of high school? What's going on? Are you even sure it's an NASA astronaut? No, we don't know for sure, Cooks. We don't know for sure. I was driving home during the EV rant. Sorry for the short outburst. Don't worry about it, man. I was just talking, dude. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. 2018, with a high school degree and 2 years of trade school for welding. Okay, Tilo. Oh, you should be able to find something, dude. Now, keep in mind, bro, you don't need to go... Just because you got a degree in welding doesn't mean you need to go be a welder. This is a good bit of advice that a lot of people, my parents gave this to me when I graduated. I was like, I got to get a job in 3D animation. I got to get a job in 3D animation. I got to get a job in 3D animation. No, you don't. No, you don't. You get a job in what pays the bills. Welding should be, you've had 6 interviews for various companies and keep getting the "we will be in contact." All right, circle back and go from there. In the meantime, dude, pick up something else. Find some other work. Like, there's nothing wrong with, like, going down to Burger King or McDonald's or whatever, or even Walmart or something, and just picking up some supplementary income, dude. There ain't nothing wrong with that. This is, once again, I wish I could have given myself this advice because, how I thought is like, once I didn't get a job in 3D art, and that's what I went to school for, and then I went and got another job somewhere else. Hey, I got a job delivering pizzas. I got a job working on the loading dock. I got copy and print. I did all kinds of stuff. But I was like, I can't go and apply for this job and be here for a month and then go find another job. You can't do that. You have to be there for a while. You can't, no, that's bullcrap. You can do that. Sure. If you want some supplementary income, go work at Burger King or something for a little while. You don't have to work there for a year. Like, in a 1 to 2 month gap on your resume is no big deal. You could just say I was job searching. You don't even have to put it on there, I was actually supposed to have a job out here when I moved. The previous manager screwed you over with that. It happens. You've been working to learn 3D modeling, actually, trying to figure out fusion in Onshape. Yep. You have an application out to Walmart. Yeah, exactly, dude. Just, dude, supplemental income is nothing to scoff at, dude. Like, my first job after I graduated from college was bagging groceries. Whatever. The point is that, you know, the economy might, you know, it'll be okay. We have a pretty elastic economy, right? It's hard to find a job right now, and fields do change, and where demand is for jobs does change. But you'll find something as a welder, dude. You'll find something. But that doesn't mean you can't work something in the meantime. Dude, I worked a blue-collar job even while the stream was making more money. I worked on the loading dock even after I got partnered on Twitch. Still did that. To be honest, I still should find another job, but I'm not going to. I got, you know, YouTube and NSF. I even have the NSF. You could count that as a side hustle to this day. You know? Nothing wrong with some extra pocket change, dude. I've worked everything. Every service job you can think of, dude. I've worked in restaurants. I've busted tables. I've been a line chef. I've made pizzas. I've delivered pizzas. I've been a sous chef. I can run a restaurant for what it's worth. We can probably do that. I've done it before. I work copy and print. I can tell you about wide format printing. Worked loading dock. I can tell you about bill of lading and how those work and how, you know, inventory systems work. Oh yeah, dude. I was like, yeah. Not at all. Like, don't be, you know, if you don't find something in welding right away, there ain't no shame in that, bro. Let's open a restaurant. No, I'm good. So that's where my attempt to learn 3D modeling comes from. Oh, there you go, David. Good luck. State jobs, especially Department of Transportation. That's not a bad place to look, Cooks. Sure. So happy NSF introduced you. Thanks, DOS. I appreciate that. Yeah, so, yeah, man, you'll find something. 200 welding jobs in Michigan. They're desperate. There you go. Tilo, you want to relocate to Detroit, man? There's plenty of demand for stuff there. You know. Let's deliver rockets to space. You're in Colorado Springs. You should be able to find something, dude. Heck, man, if you're a welder, you're good with your hands, right? Dude, you could walk into a technician job at an aerospace company. I'm pretty damn sure. You could go into a technician's job. Technicians are the people that put the damn thing together. It's the assembly line for rockets. I guarantee you could do that with trade school from welding. Yeah, you could do that. Look around, man. It's a game, right? It's just a game. Got to be good at the game. If you start doing car restos on the side, that's another hustle that earns double money. I taught myself how to weld for a reason, Steegen. NASCAR just announced they're going back to the chase format for points. Nice. Oh, you look for welding work, do some YouTube welding videos, going to try projects at home, always looking for content. Oh, there you go, brats. Nice. Your cousin made $2,800 an hour as an underwater welder for oil. $500 just an hour for being on a rig. There you go. Underwater welding. Yeah, plenty of money there, Tilo. That's the next plan. Honestly, wanted to learn to work on bush planes. Go get an A&P. Airline industry ain't going nowhere. A&P certification. I just had another viewer do that today. Just extended your sub for 6 months at tier 2. Thanks, Bio. And 95 had a 70-month resub 20 minutes ago. Thank you very much. Yeah, Tilo, I guess what I'm trying to say is just don't give up hope, dude. I know the job market's tough right now. And yeah, like I said, when I graduated, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It was not fun trying to find stuff, but you'll find something eventually. You know, it just might rebound. You just can't give up. That's the big thing. Bet. And I'll only lose if I do give up not doing that. There you go, dude. That's it. That's it, man. Just a general PSA, I guess, Tilo, you know, because you're not the only one that's having this problem. I have people talk to me about this all the time.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
There's a viewer that's a finance major. That's like, dude, I'm a finance major and I can't find anything. Nobody's hiring. It's such a pain in the butt for, you know, kids my age to find jobs. And like, honestly, I didn't want to do the old person thing of like, oh, pick yourself up from your bootstraps, fool. But I was like, bro, I graduated in 2008. Shut the hell up. Shut up. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, graduated August 08, dude. Nice try. You'll find something. Trust me. You'll find something, dude. Good people in this chat. Folks in trouble always want to help. But Tilo, you'll find something with welding. You just might need to relocate. Oshkosh needs welders in Wisconsin. That's what YouTube chat's telling me. There you go. Oh, it was brutal. Lost a home. Yeah. Yeah, broadsword. I graduated from college, right? And then by December, my student loans kicked in. And I was bagging groceries. Fellas, there's a reason why I ended up living at home with my parents until I was 30. Because I couldn't afford to move out. Only could do that once I started streaming. But it, like I said, everything happens for a reason, man. My student loans are 4 figures, Rob. 4 figures a month. They have been for my entire streaming career, dude. I've refinanced a couple of times to get the interest rate down, but I've been basically paying a mortgage payment since December of 2008. Nice. Yeah, Tessa, I probably could have moved out, but yeah, with Bree, yeah, that made that a lot more manageable. This is why you're glad you didn't go to college. I mean, yeah, it's different times, dudes. I don't blame anybody for myself. Nobody put a gun in my head and said, do this, but I guess I wish I was more financially literate at the time, you know? Yeah, Heitor, I got you. I came back to a welding job at Newport News. Starts at 28 an hour. Nice. Yeah, fanny pack, it'll change. It'll change. The price will deflate eventually, guys. Like I said, the economy is elastic. For every down, it goes up. For every up, it goes down. It's elastic. Just keep that into account. Keep that in mind. Like, it'll bounce back. It always does. That's just the nature of the beast, man. Space welding jobs market incoming. There you go. Like I said, something will always happen, and you'll find something. How long have I been here? Oh, Tilo, 10 years. How long until that launch? We're about 20 minutes out. But yeah, we did a little mini space and rocket jobs review thing. Tessa, like, it is what it is. Have you heard anything from the people at NSF about a stream for Flight 2 of ESAR's Spectrum rocket? I find it strange that ESAR has remained fairly quiet for a launch in 5 days. I have not gone and talked to them in a little bit, USA. I have to do that more. I have to go in there and not be a stranger. I missed Flame Trench on Friday because I couldn't talk. Pipe fitters in space. Are you in Central Mass? No, I'm on the South Shore, King. South Shore, man. I live down by the bridges. If you know, you know what that means. You know what that means. I used to live up in Boston. That's where I grew up. I grew up inside of 128, dude. But, yeah. Nope. Can't afford that. South Shore is much nicer. I like it. I live in the woods. It's great. I live in the woods. It's fantastic. Are you hopping on for SLS rollout on Saturday? I don't know, maybe. Hey, Kens. Oh, okay. I got you, my friend. I grew up off 495 and live out in Western Mass now. Yeah, King, I got you. Yeah. Dude, yeah, that's where all of my cousins and everybody moved to because they couldn't afford inside of 128 either. They all live in like Lancaster, Clinton, Sutton, Worcester, stuff like that. Bolton, Hudson. That's where everybody else went. I moved to the South Shore because I like the beach. I moved down here. South Shore is pretty affordable. That's all I'm saying. As long as you don't want to live in Hingham or something, because I can't afford that. Worse than where I grew up. You're in the Warren, Mass area. Yep. All English names. They are all. Well, we are in New England, Paul. Like, I don't know what you want. I live around Plymouth, Mass. Like, I wonder where they got the name for that. You graduated from Hudson. Nice. King, do you know where Classic Pizza 3 is? It's like on the border of Hudson and Bolton. But do you know where that is by any means? By any chance? Classic Pizza 3, man. It's Classic Pizza 3, guys. I don't know what happened to 2 and 1, but yes. Yeah, dude. I know exactly where that is, dude. I bought a car from a guy there one time. Like right down the street from CP3. Near the show, but yeah. Yeah, dude. I know that area pretty well. Are you also a patriot? Of course. Small world. Yeah, man. We don't talk about 2 and 1. No. A fun game yesterday. That was good, man. It was a good time. Yeah, okay. We got to switch over to launch coverage, dudes. I'll just keep the VOD on Space and Rocket Review, and we'll go from there. But anyway. Yeah, King. I'm still up here. I wanted to move to Florida because I like rockets, but too much family here. You know how it is. Anyway, Tilo, you'll find something, dude. You'll find something. Just, yeah. Even if it's just jocking a cash register. Whatever, dude. Just do that. But, just do that for a little while. Keep the job search going. You'll be fine. February 17th, 2015 is your follow date. I told you, Tilo, for 10 years, man. That's what I said. I said, you've been following for 10 years. I said that, like, right before your thing glitched out. Victor, you re-enlisted on Friday. Making a one last ride till retirement. There you go. My mindset is income. That's really it, dude. That's really it. And that's the secret to this. You just got to be in a mentality that no work is beneath you. Go be a garbage man if you freaking have to. A garbage man, get on a construction crew. You could get on a construction crew doing residential. You could do mechanical, anything like that. If you're competent with a welder, you'll get on a crew. You could get on a mechanical crew. You could get on an HVAC crew. And HVAC guys make lots of money. I'm sure you've been here a while. A lot of you have been here a while, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. There's a town here in Sweden where there's 2 restaurants. They're Mekong 1 and Mekong 2. Both operate simultaneously, and they both have separate menus. Yep. Dude, that's just how it is, man. If it's something hands-on, you can pick up really quick. I don't do well when it comes to book learning. That's fine. I mean, Tilo, what I'm about to say is very much my personal opinion on things. People are going to disagree with it. And I want to make it explicitly clear that this is my personal opinion. I think that trades are going to come back in a big way. I think that anything that produces a tangible result that you can hold in your hand or you can touch physically in the real world, i.e. not software, is going to make a big comeback. I think that is because of AI. If you really want my honest to God opinion, I think that trades will make a big comeback. Trades, manufacturing, anything that's tangible, will make a huge comeback. Because look, AI isn't going to replace every single job, but AI to the software industry, in my opinion, this is very much my opinion. People will disagree with this, and I know that, and that's fine. I think AI to the software industry is what automation is to the automotive industry. You know, instead of guys on the line with a spot welder with cars going down the line, you know, you have robots that weld the thing and then you go. They can do it faster. They never request a break. You don't have to pay them, et cetera, et cetera. I think AI to the software industry is very much that. It's automation. So I think that because of this, software is going to get cheaper to make. And if software gets cheaper to make, and it gets to the point where, you know, it's not expensive to do anything with software, I think we'll see a rebound into the trades, because software will become so cheap that you know, it's not where the money is. That's not where the money is. You're not gonna make money being a software engineer. And that kind of sucks, because there's, you know, we trained an entire generation of people to be good with computers in the anticipation that that market was going to grow. And here we are. Take a look at open trades. Tilo, click on John's link, see what's there. Yeah, large language models would be the right way to say it, Jaka. And once again, that's very much my opinion, guys. I'm not trying to say like, oh, that's what's going to happen. But I think that software is eventually going to become so ridiculously inexpensive to produce with large, not even AI, not even AGI, with large language models, that it's going to, trade skills will surpass them in, trade skills will surpass that market in value, if that makes any sense. Like, that's not the exactly right terminology, but you get the idea. Everyone needs a car. Car needs maintenance. AI can't do that. That's right. I mean, not yet, at least, Paul. CJ and I agree. Our company just started integrating agentic AI into our code workflow. Don't change specialized coding, but general boilerplate code is lightning fast and simple. You're part of the rollout group, and I was able to get a component working in just a couple of days, but it would have taken me at least a couple of weeks to do by hand. Bingo. It's automation for the software industry. That's how you got it. That's how I think about it, dude. So, Tilo, I think you were good going for a welding job. Like, I think we're going to see a resurgence in manufacturing. Not like they took a gerb stuff, but just a natural progression into tangible goods. Because software is going to become so ridiculously cheap that no one's like, there's going to be no money there. It's only going to be money if you're really experienced, right? Or, you know, like the automotive industry is today. It's the AI change a flat tire on the side of the road. Exactly, Paul. Yeah. Until Optimus can pull up, Optimus or an Atlas robot from Boston Dynamics can pull up and change the tire for you, which I'm not even sure that's worth it. Yeah. Trades, making things are where we're going. Making tangible stuff. Hardware is where the market is going to, like, where demand is going to pivot to. I honestly and truly believe that. But like I said, not everybody agrees with that, but that's fine. It's okay. That's just my opinion. That's entirely able to be. You could say like, EJ, I think you're full of crap. And you'd probably be right. I don't know. What do I know, dude? I just sit here on Twitch all day and entertain people. You don't need to keep hedging. If you're saying something, we can assume that's your opinion. Yeah, every time I do that, somebody says, no, that's just your opinion, Mayor. If I don't repeat it incessantly, someone's like, no, I disagree. I think you're wrong. That's just your opinion. I know it's my opinion. That's why I'm telling you. Manufacturing's making a comeback. Look up Andy did a Rosie. Andy's got a lot. Andy put a lot on his plate, Obsure. We'll see what he does. I hope he does well. I genuinely do. That guy's awesome. I think he's really cool. Lev, hi EJ. I often see open flames going up on Falcon 9's aft. Why does that happen? Low pressure. It's drag, Lev. In between the nozzle of the engines and the bottom of the rocket, there's a little area that generates low pressure. It actually creates a vacuum that appears to suck the flames up the sides of the rocket. Totally normal. Yep.
Discovery.
Yes, there you go. Hey, Bith, tier 3, 90-month resub. Thanks, man. Yeah, Lev, that's totally normal. Yeah, low pressure. You get low pressure down at the rocket, and it actually creates a little bit of a vacuum, and it sucks the flames back up. It gets really, really hot at the bottom of the rocket. That's why they have thermal protection systems usually down there. But aren't you a synth? So doesn't that mean we're being entertained by AI? A synth is not artificial general intelligence. It's synth. It's a synthetic organism. I'm more like the Terminator, Platinum. Less like Grok. Living tissue of a metal endoskeleton. When the toasters take over, it's gotta be the traits to fight back. If you know how to fix your machine, you know how to break it. There you go. Yep. There was a lot of robots at CES. Okay. Jay Arlington. 136 viewer raid. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it, man. You like the arrow spike, Tilo? Arrow spikes are cool. Yeah, pretty neat. Jay, thanks very much for the raid. I don't believe I know Jay very well. Who are you? And who's your daddy? And what does he do? No. Where's the Jay Arlington viewers coming in from? What was Jay up to? Show us ads? No, I don't want to. No. No, I'm not doing that. Stock talk. Right on, dude. Oh, sweet. Okay. Jay does market news. Well, Jay, thank you very much for the raid. That's cool. SpaceX broadcast is live. We're covering rocket launches up in here. Take a look. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's awesome. Yeah, there's stock talk streams are pretty cool, man. Yeah, I haven't watched Jay personally, but I've watched other stock streamers. Pretty cool. Good stuff. Well, Jay, if you're out there, thank you very much. Tip my cap. Hi, I'm EJ, by the way. Yeah, Mind Drive for sure, for sure. Trying to get a piece of that SpaceX IPO, Donkey. So okay. All right, this I can speak to. I think that SpaceX is going to roll off Starlink into their own company and then IPO that. What we heard from their market valuation, right, seems to basically is a very small amount of the company being offered, right? What was their valuation? It was like 800 billion or something. SpaceX is worth way more than that, dude. From what I understand, it's a very small bit of SpaceX. It's not like the whole thing. Like it's like maybe 2% of what SpaceX is worth. Right? So that tells me either he's going to do that, just offer a small bit of SpaceX to be publicly traded, or spin off Starlink into their own company and then IPO that. IPO the entirety of Starlink. Personally, if it was me, that's what I would do. I would not IPO or launch services. That doesn't make sense. But when it does happen, Donkey, yeah, sure. But I wouldn't buy at IPO. Wait a second and buy the dip, right? That's how this works. A Starlink spinoff would lose synergies with the main company. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. So, what Falcon 9 is flying today? So, this is Starlink 6-97. We're launching V2 minis here. It looks like we got 29 V2 minis on board. This is the SpaceX rocket. That's the Falcon 9 vehicle. It's a 2-stage to orbit rocket. 29 payloads up inside of the aerodynamic fairing up there. The first stage that's flying today is booster serial number 1078 on its 25th flight, 59-day turnaround.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
It will do a downrange landing on SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ship called Just Read the Instructions. This is a southeast trajectory going out of the Cape. So it's the Bahamas, not the full Bahamas corridor, but they're going to fly southeast out of there. Now, this is the 5th SpaceX mission of 2026. Falcon 9's 588th mission and SpaceX's 615th mission total. 6th orbital launch attempt for 2026. Grandma brought me a burger. Orgar. We'll be eating that later.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
6th launch attempt for this year. Yep. Inside of 2 minutes here, we should see a ground gas closeout. Ground gas closeout happening on the vehicle after 2nd stage LOX load completion. There was a pretty big cloud of black smoke at McGregor about 20 minutes ago. I'll look around and see what we can see. Baron, we covered that at the beginning of this early space news. What's all the smoke? So, Chocolate, this Falcon 9 it's a bipropellant rocket, meaning that's a nice way of saying it carries the fuel and oxidizer with it. Rockets need to take the oxygen with them because where they're going, up there's no oxygen. So, on board, we have RP1, which is Rocket Propellant 1. It's a nice way of saying kerosene. It's a really cool, spacey way of saying it's kerosene. And then their oxidizer is liquid oxygen. T-minus 1 minute inside a startup. So, in order for, when you think oxygen, you don't think liquid, right? You think gas, right? What you think that's air you're breathing now? Actually, you're breathing mostly nitrogen, but that's another story. Right? In order for it to exist as a liquid, it needs to be really, really, really freaking cold. So a lot of this smoke that you're seeing here isn't smoke, it's condensation. Because Florida is warm and the propellants inside the vehicle are not. They're the opposite of that. So you do see a lot of condensation on the vehicle. Now, that puff of smoke that you saw coming out here, that fat vape cloud that Falcon 9 ripped there, that is them evacuating the propellants out of the pad so they don't light the pad on fire during liftoff. Okay.
T-minus 15.
15 seconds in, pad deluge system should be on here.
T-minus 10.
Beautiful shot here.
8.
Sound suppression water
7,
system is on.
6. 5. 4.
Should get 9
3,
engine ignition.
2. 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Go
Okay.
SpaceX. Go Starlink.
9 good engines. Starlink 6-97 takes to the skies here on this Monday afternoon.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
29 Starlink V2 minis on board. Vehicles cleared the tower and pad and will execute a pitch kick and a roll program to initiate proper flight azimuth orientation, meaning it's turning to fly in a different direction. This one, oh, what a shot. This one is heading due southeast out of Cape Canaveral. The flight azimuth is probably 135 if I had to guess, somewhere around there. Meaning that's its directional heading on a compass.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Good call for power and telemetry here. We should get a call for supersonic here in a moment. Oh, vapor cone. Vapor cone. Nice.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Okay. No, it's the 5th SpaceX launch of the year. Believe it or not, long balls. Should get a call for maximum dynamic pressure here. Maximum dynamic pressure is peak aerodynamic load being exerted on the vehicle.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
There it is. Basically, the rocket can't move the air out of the way fast enough. And what they do is they throttle the engines down. If you notice the accelerometer there on the far right of your screen, it's kind of maintaining a constant acceleration, right? that number will start to go up big time when they throttle the engines back up. Basically, because the rocket can't move out of the air out of the way, they wait a little bit, wait for it to get a little bit higher, throttle the engines back up. You'll start to see this thing go up big time. Now, the call right there was from Merlin Vacuum. Chill. The second stage engine, which is a single engine on the second stage, they don't have 9 like the first stage. They are thermally conditioning that engine. They're basically priming it, getting it ready to fly here, because in about 30 seconds, give or take, what we're going to see is stage separation. You're going to see the first stage separate from the second stage, and the second stage will kind of, or the first stage will kind of turn away. Second stage will ignite, and then it'll propel this. It'll propel itself away from the first stage. First stage will kind of turn a little bit, deploy its grid fins, and get ready for a landing. Now, what we're looking at here is a shot up the business end of the second stage.
Separation confirmed.
Okay, we got a good staging, good separation there. Green flash. There's your green flash. You've got a good upper stage ignition. The nozzle in the second stage should light up now. Everything looks A-okay here. First stage is going to fire its attitude control thrusters. Those are compressed gas. It's compressed nitrogen to basically turn the stage and make sure it's oriented correctly for landing. SpaceX will reuse this stage if it get it back down. We got a good fairing separation there. The fairing is a two-piece aerodynamic shell that covers the satellites. And when they deploy it, they call it a clamshell fairing because it deploys like this. And you saw it kind of flipping away. Now, those fairings, believe it or not, will actually, they have little thrusters on them, and they'll reorient themselves, and they'll basically surf re-entry and come back down and land in the water. They deploy a parafoil, and they actually land like a seaplane, and SpaceX will go fish them out with a boat and bring them back. The only part of Falcon 9 that doesn't get reused is the second stage, which is pretty crazy. It does have RCS on it. It's the same compressed nitrogen thrusters, Tilo, that Falcon 9 uses. Or it's very similar. The fun fact, Tilo, all fairings have reaction control systems on them. Fairings use compressed gas to separate. Most modern fairings do. It's just thrusters that are pointed at each other, and psst, that's how they get the clamshell separation to work. They have compressed gas in them, and that's why SpaceX was so easily able to retrofit these fairings to be able to flip over and, sail through re-entry and come back down and land. Because fairings already have pneumatic systems on board for the separation. Where are the tanks for the reaction control systems? So on the first stage, they're inside of the interstage. So there was that compartment maximum that the second stage kind of separated out of. They're in there. On the second stage, they're kind of hanging off the back. You can't really see them. They're up here. They're basically where this camera is mounted, so you don't ever really see them. But sometimes when the second stage, sometimes you see the multi-insulative material here that's keeping the turbine machinery cool. Sometimes you see it kind of move. You can tell that they're pulsing the thrusters up there. The ticking sound is Starbase Live. Don't worry about that.
Discovery, go at throttle.
Cody, 10 months. Thanks, buddy. McGregor had something weird happen. Yep. And in the fairings, it's a very similar design, Flavia. Yeah, it's just it's their compressed nitrogen thruster. It's the same thing as that, but inside of the first stage, because the first stage needs to come back down and needs to fly through the atmosphere, they have a little aerodynamic shell over their thruster cluster. EJ, can you please explain supersonic retropropulsion? So we're coming up to my favorite part here. This is the entry burn. The first stage, as it comes back down into the atmosphere, is going to fire its engines to slow down. Now, it's not only slowing itself down, but it's also protecting itself from the oncoming reentry heat. First stage right now is going 3,000 to 4,000 miles an hour. That isn't enough to need like tiles or a heat shield or something like how you'd see like on a space shuttle or a capsule, but it is enough to generate a good amount of re-entry heating. So what SpaceX does is they fire their engines, and the exhaust from the engine actually pushes the heat away. It pushes the heat away from the vehicle. Supersonic retropropulsion doesn't just slow the first stage down, it actually protects it. And that's why when Booster 1078, when it comes back down and lands, it'll look like it's been rolling coal because it's been flying through a gas generator rich exhaust cycle. It'll be covered in soot because it flew through its own exhaust. As you can see, it's coming down into the upper atmosphere here. This thing's really, really going to start. It's pretty fast right now, but it's really going to start slowing down. The reason why it's slowing down is because the atmospheric density gets thicker exponentially as you get closer to the surface. Basically, it's thin up here, and then it gets really, really thick really, really fast. So it's using aerodynamic drag to slow itself down right now. Note that the speed is dropping like crazy. They're attached to the center of gravity of the fairing, Flavia. They're up at the top where the fairing starts to curve in. It's forcing Tilo, well, you know about ionized gas. It's forcing the ionized gas away from the vehicle, Tilo, because the same re-entry heating is the same exact thing that happens when you weld with no gas.
Stage 2 terminal.
You know what I'm talking about. Same thing. Don't want that to happen to the outside of the rocket. The rocket exhaust is your argon CO2 mixture that pushes it away, to speak in welding terms. There's the drone ship. Landing burn has begun. Grid fins will steer yourself in.
Landing leg deploy.
At landing leg deploy, vehicles on thrust vector control only, grid fins locked. And we got a touchdown.
Confirmed.
Touchdown. Booster 1078 completing its 25th flight, the Starlink 6-97 mission. 25 flights on that booster. Now, staging here, the magic number we're looking for is something north of 27.
MVAC shutdown.
27,000 kilometers an hour. 27076 at 138. We should get a call for nominal orbit insertion here in a moment.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Like clockwork, baby. Like clockwork. They're going to vent down and purge the engine out because leaving oxygen inside of liquid oxygen inside of a metal engine is bad for it. So you saw them purge out the motor there. And with that, they usually don't go much further into the mission here. There you go. Starlink 6-97, baby. Like I said, doing it like clockwork in 2026. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Good stuff. They somehow managed to roll call with a Raptor 3 on McGregor Live. Oh, okay. All right, people were telling me about this, Phil. What's going on here? So these are shots from my buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. This is a shot of SpaceX's testing facilities. These cameras are here with permission, which is pretty nuts. Let's see. Watch over here. I saw it. There's an engine firing. Yeah, it's I'm not sure that was supposed to do that. It's not hydrogen. Raptor engines use liquid methane, so it's CH4, so there is some carbon. I've seen RDEs, Tilo. Yeah. Yeah, that's let me listen. There was no deluge running on it either, so it may have been a test to destruction. Guys, that I didn't hear anything out of the blue there. That sounded fine. I'd be very interested to see what the heck that was about. Yeah, I didn't. It's hard to pick out an explosion from a continual explosion that is a firing rocket. You usually hear it, but then again, these cameras are a little far away. Sounded fine to me. That might be induced behavior. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. It might be induced though. Who knows? That's a it's very peculiar. Anyway, good stuff. Oxidizer lean. I mean, that guys, if the oxidizer impeller failed, the thing would just blow up. Like, it's not that. That thing was firing for a little bit of time, so it was firing fuel rich, which is weird. It could be a leak. Possible. Yeah. That's a horizontal stand, yeah. At least it looked like the horizontal one. Why you don't want to have a deluge active during such tests? That tells me that it was induced, Adrian. No deluge system running extremely fuel. Now the horizontal one's getting upgraded. Even then, Chris, no deluge system, no deluge. Just fire it and fire it fuel rich. Part of me thinks that's an induced test. That's destructive testing on purpose. Either that or they blew a fuel line and the fuel line is shooting methane into the plume, in which case the engine would usually stop. The engine would usually explode at that point. Like I said, guys, so like, here's the thing with rocket engines, okay? It either works or it doesn't, okay? There's no like, and now that I say this, someone's going to think of a case scenario where this happens. Usually when a rocket engine fails, there's a gigantic explosion, like a big, just ridiculous fireball. It's not like a rocket engine will like hang on for dear life and it's like danger to manifold, like beep, 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 shut up, like hit the nitrous. Like it usually doesn't work like that. Sometimes it does. In the case of like solid rocket boosters with liner corrosion or liner degradation, due to non-uniform heating. That does happen. Most of the time with liquid fuel engines, it either works or it doesn't. There's no like, it's kind of working. No, it usually just blows up. It usually kind of works for like a second and then pops. But that's why that test is so strange to me, because the rocket engine seemed to have worked with that extremely fuel-rich mixture, putting out a black soot cloud, right? And it clearly was shut down, right? With like, it didn't result in an explosion. It just resulted in a huge cloud of carbon soot, which is very, very weird. That's a weird test. Grits and Gravy, hey, 59-month resub. Yeah, it usually just, it's working and then it's not. That's usually how that works. Interestingly enough. Probable case, very low throttle setting, fuel rich, and low overall gas pressures. Yeah, Jaka, that seems like it's an induced test. That's what I'm thinking, dude. I don't think that was a failure, to be 100% honest with you. I think they were torture testing a Raptor 3. Highly random. In your background, could you put a gif of Bruce Lee under the Kato sign? No. Yeah, exactly, Frowlin. So if it's producing fuel rich, implying that there's something wrong with the LOX impeller, with your liquid oxygen impeller and your liquid oxygen preburner, the engine would just explode. It would just, there's not like, oh, it's kind of working, especially with Raptor. Raptor has an integral LOX turbo pump, an integral LOX power head. Now, once again, if these are words that mean nothing, basically the motor is mounted on the oxidizer pump, and the fuel pump is kind of on the side. So you have like your de Laval nozzle, you have your nozzle, you have your throat, and then you have your combustion chamber. And the liquid oxygen power head is like connected right to the top of the combustion chamber. And it's an integral, it's structurally integral to the thing. SpaceX did that to save weight. And then the fuel pump's mounted on the side on Raptor. So, like I said, if there was something wrong with the LOX impeller because it's structurally integral, the engine would just explode and you'd see a giant fireball. You wouldn't see a big cloud of black smoke. That dude's playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. I wonder how the pumps compare flow rate versus the one used on a top fuel dragster. The fluid impeller systems on Raptor Tilo make a top fuel dragster's mechanical fuel pump look like a garden hose. The only thing I could think of was that it looks like a test to destruction, but if it was producing fuel rich, they would run the risk of damaging the flame bucket. Yeah, no deluge as well, Chris. Whatever that was, it was done on purpose. That wasn't a, oh my God, it's failing. We've seen failures before. Failures end in a gigantic fireball. That was not a gigantic fireball. That was a big cloud of fuel-rich exhaust. So they might be doing some kind of test where they're running the fuel impeller for Raptor only. That would be my guess. It could be a fuel pump test. And that's about it. That would produce an extremely rich exhaust out of the vehicle, out of the nozzle. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's a very strange one. And a top fuel dragster looks like a fire hose when it's at full throttle. Yeah, guys. I mean, you want to talk cars here for a second, but it's cars that's applicative to the conversation. What's the compression ratio on a top fuel dragster? Right? What's the combustion chamber pressure on those things? It's not very high. Raptor is 300 bar. 300. So if you want that in PSI comparatively, like for a top fuel dragster, right? So that's 300 times 14.7. That's 4,400 PSI sustained combustion chamber pressure. And because the combustion chamber is downstream of your fuel pumps, your fluid impeller, your fluid impellers, so the oxidizer and the fuel pumps are at even higher pressure than that. because you can't have low pressure before the main combustion, or else you'll get backflow in the rocket engine and it blows up. It blows up. The 14-to-1 compression. Okay, so with a 14-to-1 compression chamber, Tilo, this is, keep in mind, this is a guess. We're probably talking, I don't know, 200 psi, maybe 250 psi in the combustion chamber. Keep in mind it's diabatic compression versus adiabatic compression, but that's another story. So 250 psi, I'd say maybe 300, maybe. This is 4,400. 4,410. The fluid impellers on Raptor are ridiculous. They make a fire hose look like a little baby sprinkler. And a fire hose is no joke. Yeah, I'll collect that too. (6.57 to 1) compression ratio. That's because it's blown. Top fuel dragster is a blown supercharger, so you'd want low compression ratio to resist detonation because the supercharger is making up for the compression there. How does Super Heavy know how to shut down a Raptor before it explodes? Sensors. Good sensors and good instrumentation, Michigan. Yeah, that's a big deal. Sensor calibration is the unsung heroes of the rocket industry, man. That's really important to get your instrumentation right. If you don't get your instrumentation right, how do you know the sensor is telling you correct information?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, geek. Corpa, corazón palo. Yeah. Why don't they brute force the shape of the rocket into the best possible shape? What do you mean? When you say the shape of a rocket, Russ, what exactly are we talking about here? So you're talking about why don't they just shape the rocket for however they want? I mean, you can do that, right? But the problem is you're going to be... Okay. Let's back out and let's de-scope our focus here. You're talking like, why don't they just make a Borg cube and just launch that into space or just brute force it? Long story short, there's this thing called an atmosphere in the way. That really does impede progress. That's why rockets have to be somewhat aerodynamic, right? And that's why they're all kind of bulbous in nature. They all kind of, you know, have a very interesting looking shape, like Dr. Evil's rocket. You know what I mean? The perfect shape's basically a cylinder, dude. Cylinder, there's a reason why they're all cylindric and they all look like, you know, Dr. Evil's rocket. Phallic. Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. The landing pad at 40 looks about ready. It looks like a giant Johnson. Yes, sir. Get on the horn to British intelligence and let them know about this. The strongest shape. Yes. Penicular is the best shape. So Russ, why do they look like that? It's convergent design because they have to fly through the atmosphere. Rockets have to be somewhat aerodynamic. They have to be somewhat aerodynamic. The reason why is because we don't have a sophisticated enough propulsion to be able to Star Trek things up into space or Star Wars something up into space. With enough thrust, you can get anything anywhere. The problem is we don't have enough thrust. Not yet, at least. Like if that, I'm pretty sure that's what you were getting at. The hardest shape. Yes, precisely. That's why it's called Johnson Space Center. Yes. It makes sense, Corza. It makes sense. Now, keep in mind, once in a while, there are exceptions to the rule. I would argue that has the aerodynamics of a steam engine, and they still launch that into space. Like I said, with enough brute force, you can get a freaking truck, and you could get a truck-shaped object into space with wings attached to the side. The Union Pacific Big Boy is more aerodynamic than that thing. But the important thing to understand is that the shuttle is not aerodynamic by design. It's designed to fly like trash. It's a re-entry vehicle. It needs to make drag. Drag is usually what makes something fly worse. Just keep that in mind. That was intended. That was the whole idea. It's not like NASA made the space shuttle, flew it, and said, it flies terribly. Oh, well, it's fine. No, they made it intentionally designed to fly like trash. It's not designed to fly very well at low speeds like a regular airplane. It's not designed to fly well. It's designed to fly well at Mach 25, re-entering the atmosphere, in which case you got to slow down before the ground comes. Yeah, the ground will come up really quick when you're going Mach 25. Yeah. It flies. If I would argue it flies great up there, better than anything. Down here, though, just good enough to land. Can you get a Reliant Robin into orbit? With enough thrust, you can get whatever you want up there. Just got to worry about those aerodynamics, dude. The rocket needs to be more pointy. How are we supposed to instill fear into our enemies? It's not pointy enough. Could you get the Earth into orbit? The Earth is in orbit around the sun, Bio. I know what you're doing, but I'm going to counter you with facts and logic. Cygnus derived, baby. Yeah. The variable Q is a bit tricky. Yep. Can we get Chat's mom into orbit? No. Impossible. Why can't we build space elevators? So, Russ, if we were going to build a space elevator, okay, picture a yo-yo. You have, the thing that the yo-yo, the thing with the string and the spinny thing attached to it, and it goes up and down, right? Okay. Say that's our proverbial space elevator. All right. If you just hold the string up like this, what is it going to do? All right. The yo-yo part is going to go down towards the ground. How do you get that to stay up? You start spinning it, right? We essentially have to do that to make a space elevator. Now, how is that going to work? How are we going to keep the space elevator taut? Well, you need to have tension in the cable. It needs to be pulled tight like a guitar string or else it'll just collapse, right? So our yo-yo in this analogy, right? The yo-yo part of the yo-yo, the spinning part, it doesn't need to spin, is a counterweight. You need a counterweight. Where does that counterweight need to be? Well, that counterweight needs to be 23,500 miles that way, or about 38,000 kilometers that way. Why? Why does it need to be that far away? It needs to be that far away because that's geostationary orbit. That's where, because remember that the cable in our yo-yo space elevator needs to be tight like a guitar string. And in order to do that, you need to have your counterweight that's pulling on it, that's keeping it nice and tight. That needs to stay over wherever your space elevator is, right? So, because the counterweight needs to stay over where the base of the elevator is, it needs to be in what's called geostationary. Geostationary is a point in space where one orbit equals 1 day. So the thing is orbiting, but it's just orbiting at the same rate that Earth is spinning at, right? And that will keep our cable tensioned. So why can't we do this? We have trouble building a building that's just a kilometer tall at this point. We've barely scratched the surface of building something taller than 1 kilometer high. We need to build something 37,000 kilometers high to build a space elevator. Do I think that's entirely impossible? No, I'm sure we could do it. But you got to think about what you would need to make something like that. What would you need? You'd need a lot of spaceships and a lot of space construction equipment that we don't have. Not yet, at least. Is it possible? Sure. Could we do it someday? I really hope so. That would make things a lot easier. But for now, yeah, it's not something that's out of the realm of possibility, but it's something we could do in the future. Now, personally, dude, I don't necessarily think we need to. Because if you think about it, Remember, you need to build a ton of things up. You need a ton of rockets to launch up into space to build this whole damn space elevator thing. If you have a ton of rockets that launch up into space and you're worried about building some type of terrestrial platform, what's the point of the space elevator? In order to build a space elevator, you're going to need to be able to launch thousands of millions of tons of stuff into space all at once. If you can do that, why build the space elevator in the first place, right? What do you think the white building is at McGregor? Test stand for HLS. Chris, that's my guess. I suck for getting Kerpa stuck in your head? That's all right. We could harvest a captured asteroid rather than flying up the materials. Okay. Yeah, Matt. Sure. How are you going to get that asteroid here? What do you need to get that asteroid here? You need a lot of rockets to get that asteroid here. See what I mean? In this analogy, and keep in mind, this is my opinion, right? In this analogy, you don't... Okay, like, let me give you another example. Could we build a bridge from Canada, from like Newfoundland to Greenland to Iceland to the UK? Could we build a bridge across the Atlantic? Yes, probably. Could we build a bridge across the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska? Sure. We could do that. I'm sure we could do it. Why? Why would we do this? You'd need a ton of ships. You would need a ton of ships to build everything all at once. Like, and if you'd need thousands of ships to do something like that. And if you did, why not just use the thousands of ships to move back and forth, which is what we do, right? It doesn't make any sense. Can you use a rocket to carry the end of the cable up? I suppose. I suppose you could just put the cable up there, Geek, and then just do what they did with the Golden Gate Bridge and just sling the cables back and forth, right? That could work. Sure. Once again, it's a Herculean effort. You'd need so much. Like I said, it's not out of the realm of possibility, dude. We could absolutely do it.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Just accepted
totally
an offer
doable.
from Blue to work as a launch engineer in
I just
Florida.
don't really see the reason.
My dream is coming
you'd
alive.
Need 1,000 freaking
Never give
starships
up.
to build something like this. You know? Or you could just move the things up the elevator as you go. Once again, it's I don't think it's infeasible. I just don't understand why. No known material could withstand the tensile forces. You know, we could just make a bigger steel cable. A bigger steel cable would be able to do it. Just make the cable thicker. That's never stopped us before. Check your tips. It's only rocket science. Oh, the headset timed. Nice. Rocket Science just accepted an offer from Blue to work as a launch engineer in Florida. Your dream's coming alive. Hey! All right! Nice. I didn't hear the tip message. That's great. Kind stranger. That's awesome. Launch engineer. Look at you. Very nice. Yes, my plan for all the EJ sleeper cells around the entire aerospace industry is coming to fruition. Do it, Tilo. Congratulations, Rocket Science. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Good for you. What's the latest with spin launch? I don't know. I don't think they know either. Do we have enough parts to build the engine again? I'm almost there, Mac. We need to do a couple more jobs to get a little bit more money. But I almost got all the pieces that I need. All right, Outdoorsman. Feel better, buddy. Drunar, Scott Manley did a video on a space elevator thing and said a high-strength steel cable would have to be 1 kilometer wide at the top just to hold the cable below it. Like I said, Drew, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So what? So what if the cable needs to be a kilometer wide? It's a space elevator. You know? Like you're gonna try to do like carbon fiber nanotubes or like titanium cable or some type of special alloy cable? No, just make it out of steel, Sea Dragon style. Building a space elevator is already complicated. We don't need to make it even more complicated. You telling me we can't make a kilometer wide cable? We can do that. That's easy. That's the easy part, and I'd prefer it to stay the easy part if you ask me. In addition to your last, actually steel can't do it. The exponential growth of the weight of the cable itself outpaces the increase in strength. You guys are so fun. You guys are so fun to be around. So fun. All right. That's going to do it for the Space and Rocket review. Let's get back to my winter car, shall we? Tungsten cables. All right. Thank you for watching the Space and Rocket review. I hope you enjoyed the Starlink 6-97 coverage. This is going to do it for this Space and Rocket review. On to my winter car. On YouTube, stand by for loss of signal as expected. Twitch, don't go anywhere. Okay, we have a loss of signal on YouTube here. Let's see. What do we got? EJ needs more money. My winter... I don't know. It's attempt 2 part 5.